when I posted a picture explaining like mental health and how important it is. And it's crazy how the comments, yeah, all the comments are very, very nice, but there's just these comments that are like, how can you have mental health problems when you're rich and powerful and famous? And I'm like, I'm human. Before I was famous, I was born with a condition. I just because fame comes, I can't take it away. I wish, like that was a cure. But you can't. I was born with this. When I was 9, I was not famous. Being rich and famous and having money had nothing to do with anything. 1 out of 10 people have a really big disorder.
It's no secret that the 25-year-old Venezuelan Italian superstar has become one of the biggest social media icons, boasting more than 45 million followers. Popular music, fun stunt videos, and sketches, Lele has certainly become one of the most recognizable faces on the internet. In 2020, she released The Secret Life of Lele Pons on YouTube, a docuseries documenting her struggles with certain mental health conditions, including obsessive compulsive disorder. Since the release of that film, Lele has been very candid about her struggles with mental health, and in this discussion on MedCircle, she talks about what it's like living with those disorders, how she finds treatment and peace, as well as balancing the demands of her job and life in the public spotlight. Enjoy this conversation with Lele Pons. Hi, I'm Kyle Kittleson with MedCircle. If you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do right now. It's very easy. You can do it just by hitting that subscribe button. You already know how to do that. I am so happy right now because I am with somebody who has made me so happy in the past, and that is Lele Pons. Lele is an international global superstar, and she made her start in Vine and has worked her way through virtually all the social media channels and has put out some really great music hits. Lele, thank you for being here and coming on MedCircle.
Jesus, thank you for the introduction. I'm very happy I made you happy. That makes me happy.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, you got your first big hit of public notoriety on the platform Vine, and all the stuff you put out there was hilarious. But everything that I've read about you said that you weren't necessarily always the most extroverted, person who's happy to be in front of a camera, but then there you were.
Yeah, no, of course. The way I started on Vine was just because it was something fun. It wasn't a thing to be like social media famous and stuff at the time, which was like when I was 16. Mm-hmm. So I did it for just to have fun and everything, and just to make school go by faster, to be honest. And it did, and it helped a lot. But then it was a roller coaster, I was not prepared. I really wasn't. Even my therapist told me, because I've known my therapist since I was 9, told me, you're not prepared for this life. You're not prepared to go to LA, and you're going to crash, and you're going to make mistakes that are going to like be for the rest of your life with you. And she was right. So yeah.
Wow, I didn't know about that part. So your therapist, I started seeing a therapist when I was 9 years old too. So you saw your therapist when you were 9, you started to get all this traction with this career in social media, and your therapist was saying, Lele, I don't know if this is the right call for you mental health wise, but you made that decision to move out to LA anyway. What happened there?
She told me, like, I don't think it's a good idea. You have to like be prepared to go. Like, there are sharks, and like, you know what I mean? It's a really, really toxic place. And I was like, I don't care. I have this opportunity now. I'm taking it. And I really wish I had listened to her, but I didn't. I really didn't. But now I do. Now I really do listen to her. Yeah.
Your documentary on YouTube, which we'll link in the description of this video, really gave a very honest and vulnerable look at living with obsessive compulsive disorder. I have talked on virtually every disorder in the DSM with many experts and many patients and survivors, and I believe that OCD ranks as one of the most misunderstood disorders. As somebody who's so public, how do you experience the misinformation, miseducation, and stigma of OCD?
I mean, a lot of people use it as an adjective, like, oh my God, I'm OCDing, or oh my God, I'm so OCD. Like, and I'm just like, what does that even mean? It's not it's not that. It's OCD is a noun, like, it's a condition. It's something in your brain. And, I don't like when people are like, I'm so OCD that I have to clean. They say, okay. So I say, okay, you have to clean. Dope, because a lot of OCD people have to clean. Now, what is your extreme? Like, if you don't clean, are you gonna be okay? Or if you don't clean, you feel like you're gonna die? Because that's the difference, right? Because OCD people, if they don't clean, they feel they can't even function sometimes. All right. By other people that are like, I'm so OCD, I just can't stand in a room being. But you're fine though. You don't feel like you're gonna die. So there's a big difference, and there's like, yeah, there's a big difference, and it doesn't bother me. Hopefully with my documentary, I was able to show like a little bit of like what OCD means, and people understood. Maybe some people that had it, that were watching my docu-series and didn't know they had it, and they maybe like a lot of parents. Yeah, who knows?
You say that's such a good example, because it really paints the picture home, but I don't want viewers to hear that and think it is an illustrative example. It is a literal one, where the compulsions, or the obsessions rather, can, if they're not completed, can make you feel like, quote, that you want to die.
Yeah.
For somebody who doesn't feel that way, how else can you explain the turmoil going on when you're in that?
All right. So let's say you want to touch something, right? Some normal people would touch it, or be like, like they wouldn't touch it. Basically, for OCD, let's say this: if you don't do something, if your brain tells you touch something and you don't do it, it's as bad as you leaving your kid in the car locked and he's yelling and you can't open it. It's that. It's a lot of like uncomfortableness that you have, that you just have to. And even like the word have to, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch. But like when OCD people explain how they're feeling, they're like, I have to do this. I have to. Why? Because my brain tells me, because I have to. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. My understanding is that typically the first line of treatment for OCD is exposure and response prevention. Yeah. Is that something that you've participated in?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's the only thing I own.
You're like, oh, I've done a lot of ERP, honey.
Oh my God, exposure therapy is the worst. It's
okay.
Oh my God, I hate it. In group therapy.
Tell me about that. Oh
my God, it's just like, like if I for example, when I eat in sometimes like very like ritual way, like I have to bite like 3 times or this, and like I have to cut the pieces in like order. Like I do a lot of like OCD when I eat, and like when I eat when I do exposures, they make me eat it in like a chunk. They made me throw this away. They make me just like they made me do things that I don't want to do. And sometimes they like they make like another exposure that they've made me do is kind of like, I hate when people think like, let's say, bad about me, right? So they make like I hate when like sometimes I'm scared to make somebody mad at me for a reason, right? Because I'm like, oh, does that person like me? Does that person like me? That comes, I think, from social media. Oh, I hope they like me. Oh, I hope they like this. I hope all that stuff, the being validated is very important. Yeah. So one of the exposures that I do in my group therapy is that everybody tells me like, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. And they make me be mean to the kids so they can be like, you're mean, like mean to me. You know what I mean? So that's one exposure that I do. And then the kids are involved. So I'm involved with their exposure and they're involved with mine.
Now you're saying kids, what do you mean? Other people your age?
Patients.
Okay. Yeah.
My age, not kids.
And I mean, I'm not living with OCD, but if a group full of people were telling me things about me that were so terrible, I would have an adverse reaction to that. When you went through that, what was your reaction?
It was horrible. It was really bad. That was really bad when they make me not touch something or touch something very incorrectly. Oof, that's so bad when they made me touch something incorrectly. But even my cousin has OCD too, and I didn't notice until I guess I did an exposure with her. Like, she is someone that's actually, she doesn't like things on the plate. She wants things that are very clean. She actually is someone that struggles with like cleaning OCD, you know? And she was freaking out when I like, I don't know, I guess I like put my thumb in the cake, right? And she was freaking out, and I was like, oh my God. At first I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. But then I was like, I remembered the way that she acted, her response was not the right response you should do, So I said, I did it again, I did it again and again and again. That's how you should do it, until she calmed down, until she didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. And she was like almost crying and everything. I was like, I'm going to do it again. And like, sit with the feeling, that's how you have to do. Like, you have to sit with the uncomfortable feeling until it goes away.
So as much as you've said that these ERP exposures are hard, bad, terrible, not comfortable, are you happy that you've gone through them?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I was so bad before. Like, you have no idea. I was not. I would spend days in my room without getting out of my bed. Like, I skipped. Like, not skipped. I didn't pass a grade because I was in therapy for a whole year. So I had to. How do you say, like, not skip a grade, but like,
got held back?
Yeah, got held back a grade. Yeah.
Yeah. When did your parents get involved? Were they involved early on with your OCD treatment?
When I started not just, I told them, I was like, when I started touching like the doorknob of the car, and I started crying because I couldn't leave the car, and they were like, come on, babe, like, let's go in the house. And I was like, I can't. And what, something's going on with me. Like, I can't, I have to do this many times. And they had to carry me out of the car, carry me out of my bedroom, carry me places, because I couldn't stop touching everything. Got to like everything. That's when.
How old were you?
Not 8 and a half.
And when did you get the OCD diagnosis?
At 9.
Wow. Okay, Lele, I talked to Dr. Jenny Ip. She's an OCD expert out of LA, and she told me that the average person goes 14 to 17 years experiencing very severe OCD symptoms before they even get the diagnosis of that as OCD. So when I hear 8.5 to 9, I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, we got parents who are on top of this.
They're on top. My parents are like
not, and not that parents who don't discover it aren't on top of it. It is a mysterious, very, nefarious disorder. Yeah.
They asked around. They were like, what is this? What is it? Like, they asked around. Like, I'm the only child, and like, my parents are like my biggest supporters, and they were very concerned. So they asked around, and they put me in this institution, neurological behavior institution in Weston. And then I've been there, and sometimes I go there for a month. And yeah.
How would you say your OCD symptoms are in severity on a scale from 1 to 10 today?
Honestly, sometimes they're a 10, but mostly they're mostly they're an 8.
That still seems very high to me.
Very high. Yeah, I know, but they're not as bad. Like, some days I can control it better than others. So I'm very grateful, because I know what a 10 is. So I'm gonna give it to the people that actually I know are a 10.
Yeah. So you're very busy as MedCircle and your team, and the two of us have been setting this up. It is clear that you are busy, which is so fabulous. I think a lot of people look at that and go, she is living the dream. She's gorgeous. She's young. She's rich and famous and travels the world.
When I posted a picture explaining like mental health and how important it is. And it's crazy how the comments, all the comments are very, very nice, but there's just these comments that are like, how can you have mental health problems when you're rich and powerful and famous? And I'm like, I'm human.
Yeah, because I have a brain. That's how. Yeah.
Before I was born, before I was famous, I was born with a condition. Just because fame comes, I can't take it away. I wish, like, that was a cure. But you can't. I was born with this. When I was 9, I was not famous. Being rich and famous and having money had nothing to do with anything. 1 out of 10 people have a really big disorder.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you balance, though, the incredible demands of your work with the severity of experiencing OCD symptoms at a level 8?
How I just sometimes turn my phone away. I have a good support system. I do things that make me very distracted. Movies, hobbies, they distract me from like whatever's going on in the moment.
Yeah. What makes Lele the happiest?
Sadly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I wish this was a really big different answer. I think this should, in the future, I hope this answer changes. But when I'm being validated by people is when I'm happy.
Any people.
Any people. Because hard to believe, oh, she's famous, she's this. We all have low self-esteem. A lot of people have low self-esteem. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like social media. Oh, like, let me post this. I hope it gets likes. Oh my God, validation and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what makes me happy. It's really sad, really sad.
First of all, applause for you for being so honest with that answer. I think a lot of people who are happiest when they're getting validation aren't aware that that is when they are happiest. So that awareness, I think, is really commendable. Do you think that this is because you really grew up in social media and your career was really based on feedback? The more views you got, the better you were doing.
We're in a world that it's all about followers and likes and everything. And because I started in such a young age, it's all I know. I started when I was 16 and I'm 25. So since the beginning, it was just likes, oh, brand deal, how much is this gonna, they brand deals come to you during because of your engagement and everything like that. So slowly this year I have stopped caring and I've been the happiest.
How did you stop caring?
I stopped caring when you know what, sometimes just you get tired.
You got tired of it.
So much. Yeah, I got tired. You know what? I have now I have a boyfriend who, for me, him loving me is the most important thing. And then it helps me love myself. I was able to love myself. That, my family, I moved out of LA and that helped me so much. My family is near me. And I'm doing things that I love, other things, more hobbies, I'm more surrounded by good friends, than just business friends. So everything has to do with this year has been better when it comes to that.
Wow. Well done. The fact that, or when you started to be intentional with not putting so much weight on the validation of strangers online, did that in turn help the symptoms of some of the mental health that you struggle with, like OCD?
Like what?
Just being, okay, whatever. If I get a gazillion views or not a gazillion views, I'm going to not care as much as that. Mm-hmm. Did that help you in your mental health?
Yes, of course. Yeah. It took a while. I mean, it takes therapy, it takes therapy and medication for you to somehow click and be like, it's not that important,
Yeah.
It does. It's insane. Honestly, medication is, for me, so important because medication helps you get that chemical that you don't have. You can't just wait. Many people, and I do believe I'm very spiritual, mm-hmm. and I'm very religious, very, very religious. But at the same time, my parents told me, you can't just wait for a miracle. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, work on yourself, go to therapy in the meantime, because I do believe miracles happen, but I'm not gonna sit down and not do anything.
Well, and I've heard a lot of people say that a medication that they were prescribed was the miracle, and I think there's some truth to that as well.
If it works for me, I'm going to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't work for other people, but it works for me,
Okay. So you're in therapy?
Yes.
All right. Love it. How is the therapy? How often do you go? What do you think about it?
3 times a week.
You go to therapy 3 times a week?
45 minutes. Yeah.
Cheers to you. Do you do it virtually?
I do it virtually, some, and then other ones when it depends on what I'm doing, and I just go in person. Do
you ever think about your upcoming therapy sessions and go, oh my God, I don't want to do this?
Oh my God, all the time. I'm
really?
Just have the mindset right now to do this.
So how do you show up then? Because you could, Lele, you could just say, you know what, clear my schedule. I don't want to do therapy this week.
No, I can't do that.
You can't do it. It's that important to you, even though you don't like it.
It's important because you know what it is? I've done the not going to therapy and it's cost me a lot of problems. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm not.
Yeah. For those who are not in therapy, but they heard you are in therapy and now they think, hey, maybe I want to go into therapy. how would you advise somebody to seek out the right therapist?
I think, many people say that they can't even afford therapy, right? And I think there are places that they help you with that. Like where I go, they're like, if someone can't afford therapy, we'll help them. There's I don't know what it was, but there's a way that they help people that really are struggling and can't afford. But I think therapy is really important, and I think that usually I hope that people don't wait until it's too late, and you know what I mean? Because people usually leave it until the end. Oh, I don't need therapy. And when it gets really bad, they're like, okay, I need therapy now, but it got really, really bad. So I think try it out, see the difference. And I promise you're going to see a difference. I mean, guys, there is a reason why these people have studied their whole lives, like years in college for something like this, just like how doctors and dentists work. Like this is a job. This is like something that's proven,
Yeah. Is there any stigma within in areas of your life and mental health that you wish weren't there? For example, is there anyone in your family, any friends who think, Lele, you don't have OCD, just get over it?
No. Yeah. People honestly know, like in my family, they're like, yo, there's a way to talk to Lele. That's what my husband say.
Okay. What's the way to talk to Lele?
Like, don't trigger me. I have a lot of triggers.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like don't tell her, like, look, did you see what they commented on her page? Don't say that to her. I will trigger her to see it and check it in a very ritual way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's ways to talk to me. They know my type of OCD that I have. They know what, you know what I mean? Like, don't, it's just like many things. Don't tell her don't tell her that she looks big today, because then she's going to get an eating disorder, which I have before. When like someone calls me like, oh, you're big, or you're this, you start obsessing over, oh my God, I'm big, my bones are getting big. It's like, it's there's a lot of ways to talk to me, you know what I mean? And it's really sad. But my cousins like have gone to therapy with me to know how to treat me sometimes,
Right. Yeah. It is pretty incredible, the power of community. In these discussions, we talk a lot about medication and therapy, and those are fabulous. And we talk about getting educated on what these disorders and treatments actually are. But that community pillar is something that people keep bringing up, even unprompted. It's like, if you got that right group around you, things are so much easier, honestly. Who is your right group?
Oh, my mom, my dad, my cousins, my boyfriend, my friends, my grandparents. I have I'm so lucky. I have a really good group of people, and I'm so blessed every day. And I sometimes cry about it too, like how amazing they have been with me.
That's so fabulous. The gratitude. Well, Lele, you are truly becoming a fabulous mental health advocate. And I really do applaud all of your transparency and vulnerability, especially in those YouTube documentaries, which again, we'll link below. Yeah, of course. Is there anything else you would like to leave our MedCircle viewers with before we go?
I think that for people that are struggling with mental health, you know what? You can get through this, and it doesn't define you. Whatever you are going through, it doesn't define you. You're able to manage it. There's a way to control it, and it's going to get better for you if you are really willing to get better.
Can't say it better than that. Lele, appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching. I'm Kyle Kittleson. Remember, whatever you're going through, you got this.